Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. Then we move to the Impact Wrestling results from the 5-5 show. Obviously, it's fine. Julisse Shaw defeating Tennille Dashwood on BTI pre-show. Opening video recaps Josh Alexander regaining the title last week over Moose, setting up his battle with Ishii at Under Siege in 2 nights. We also see the destruction of W. Morrissey, considering the courtesy of the major players last week, followed up by footage of the ongoing feud between Jonah and PCO, culminating in tonight's Monsters Ball main event. Impact Wrestling is starting that way. Morrissey defeats Brian Myers in a tables match. Morrissey gets an advantage early, and the commentary announced that Morrissey should retire after competing on AEW last night. After showboating on the outside, Myers is able to gain an upper hand, but failed to capitalize for very long. Morrissey hits a big boot. Cardona comes down to the ring and tries to create distractions. Major players try to double team things a little bit here, and then Morrissey remains in control in the 2-on-1 situation. Morrissey can't do much damage, though. Chelsea Green arrives on the scene with the Digital Media Championship and attempts to nail Morrissey with that. The numbers game catches up with Morrissey a little bit, and he's choked out while a table is being set up. Cardona and Myers manage to end the match, missing the table opportunity, with one being broken in half right against the ring post. Jordana Grace hit the ring, and after a bunch of offense on Cardona, with the help of Morrissey, puts Cardona through the table. Grace then chases off Green. Myers breaks the table in half over the back of Morrissey, but it wasn't enough, as Morrissey was able to gain advantage with Cardona still being down. And out in the corner, Morrissey nails a powerbomb over the top rope on a table on the outside, picking up a victory going Under Siege this weekend. Then Jim Miller is backstage with Rich Swann and Willie Mack. They talk about their upcoming match with the Bullet Club later tonight before being interrupted by the major players. Myers then hits a rough shape, and Cardona is concerned but still manages to get into the face of Swann and remains turning on the championship status, and potentially sets up a potential future match between the two. X Division champ Ace Austin defeats Rocky Romero to retain. Match starts out with technical wrestling. Ace Austin is still the best thing they have going in Impact Wrestling, in my estimation. Both men fall to the outside. Romero then gains the upper hand and attempts the forever clotheslines. Austin's able to counter and hits a second rope spin kick. Both men start battling back and forth once again, but this time there's a lot more aggression. And Romero hits a suicide dive on the outside. Austin then follows up with an apron kick, but wasn't effective, as Romero nails the Rana on the outside. Romero then tosses Austin back inside, hits a DDT off the ropes, and hits a slice spread. Manages a couple 2 counts. Austin then breaks up the submission by reaching the ropes. Romero attempted to gain upper hand once again, but Austin proved too much and nails Romero with the fold in the X Division Championship. As Austin celebrates and wins after the match, Trey Miguel hits the in-ring, sending Austin up the ramp. He informs the crowd that he would be seeing him invoke rematch for the title this coming Saturday at Under Siege. Backstage, GM Miller with the Impact World Champ Josh Alexander. Miller brings up Scott D'Amore, handpicking challenger for Alexander at Under Siege. Alexander starts that he would watch his match tonight against Steve McLean, and this coming Saturday he'd faced off against the best wrestler on earth. Vignettes showing someone targeting Impact Wrestling roster. So new person coming there. Masha Slamovich defeats Damaris. Stare down, Slimovich grabs her by the throat and backs her into the corner. After Damaris lands a very minor offense, Slimovich detects that that's enough and lands the snowplow for the win. Squash match after squash match, Slimovich actually going for something more meaningful will mean something eventually. Backstage, Raj Singh and Shira cut promo on Ginger and his match against VSK last week. Briscoes cut a promo on Violent by Design as they have a match against them for the tag team titles in 2 nights. Promo ended. Violent by Design interrupt their own promo and started that they are remaining champions at Under Siege. Bullet Club, Jay White, and Chris Bay defeat Rich Swann and Willie Mack. Not a fan of this, as Swann used to be something and now he's in a throwaway tag team. Makes me sad. Anyway, Swann and Mack enter the ring. The announcers refer to the interaction. Swann has an early advantage over White before tagging in Mack. Bullet Club isn't off to the best of starts. Bay then hits a cheap shot on Swann. After getting great double teamed by the Bullet Club, Mack is then knocked off the apron, leaving Swann no one to tag until when the time is right. Swann then eventually makes tag, and Mack hits some pretty big offense on Bay, including a Samoan drop before too much damage could be done. White is able to regain momentum for the team and sets up Mack for the art of finesse by Bay, sending them to the pay window. Honor No More hits the ring after the match and attempts to destroy White and Bay, but the Good Brothers make a save before too much damage could be done. The announcers then make references to PCO not being there due to the fact that he's been locked up prior to the Monsters Ball match. They also refer to the current state of the Bullet Club, with White recently standing tall over the IWGP World Championship Okada, or World Championship holder Okada. Not a fan of this, as honestly, do these promotions actually interlay well enough that people care show to show where people are? Video promo airs during the feud between Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie, referencing Impact, Ring of Honor, and AAA. They square off on Saturday. Ishii defeating Steve McLean. Basically Ishii goes to town here. McLean continues with control of the match using the ground game until he stops the momentum. Ishii then may have warned McLean, attempts to step up, but Ishii lands a huge back suplex, getting on the level playing field, and after a series of chops, Ishii was with a Boston Crab. Ishii is able to get to the ropes and break McLean, then attempted more offense, but the Stone Pitbull started to make Impact audience aware that he owns the nickname. Ishii then fights off McLean's shots, nailing Brainbuster for the victory. Then we go to PCO defeating Jonah in a Monsters Ball match. Both are released from their holding cell pretty quickly. PCO is immediately on the attack after back and forth battle. Both monsters, they arrive at the entrance ramp. Both men entered ring with a bunch of weapons scattered inside the ring. PCO nails a Rana onto chairs off the second rope on Jonah, and Jonah is hurt, rolls the outside, quickly counters with a sledgehammer to the head. As expected, PCO is then nailing a somersault, suicide dives, and then apron swantons and second rope leg drops. Only get 2 count on the first attempt, and then destruction. PCO then sets up chairs but couldn't deliver. PCO gets put through chairs after following a clothesline, but Jonah is only able to find 2 counts, with Jonah distinguished, headed outside and grabbed Mick Foley's special as thumbtacks were dumped over the ring. Jonah nailed PCO with a huge power bomb on thumbtacks, but only 2 count. Then PCO follows up with a sledgehammer, and after the match, Jonah is hard is sent hard to the outside second rope through a table. PCO is then outside tossed Jonah back into the ring and hits a top rope moonsault for the victory, ending this week's program. And there we go in simplest form. We'll be back with more right after this.